On Hashtag Friday Feels, it's all about passion, love, and pursuit. We've got the host of the podcast here, Erica Lippy. Thank you for being with us.
Such an honor. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the podcast and what your mission is with it.
Good question. First of all, I'll tell you where it all began, and it really started with my own personal journey. It was, you could say I wouldn't say hit rock bottom, but I had a little awakening. And through that journey, I went through my own personal growth, and it basically encouraged myself to work further on myself. And
So take us there. You know, I think that people relate, and I don't know if you're comfortable with it, but
Yeah,
what was that moment?
So I basically, like I said,
that wake up.
I had a little wake up
Yeah.
call. It was a little reality flash in front of me, and I realized what wasn't serving me and what I needed to change in my life. So I digged really deep into that, and I did the work. And through that journey,
But what was the work you did? How did you really
You know what?
step
I
by
actually,
step?
I worked with a life coach that I've known for 6 years, a life coach, relationship coach, and we did some work. I talked to her probably 3 times a month, and then we had programs, and I was very intentional in my pursuit of my work. The previous times I wasn't as intentional. I was more distracted.
So what was different this time? I mean, how did you really get intentional
hungry.
about it?
I was hungry for a change. I knew I needed change. I knew I needed to wake up and make some changes in my life, and that's what brought on Passion Love Pursuit. So it's actually, Passion Love Pursuit used to be a blog, and it was travel and philanthropy and inspiring people to step outside their comfort zone. But what the podcast came about is because I've always been so fascinated with self-development and growth and becoming the best version of our authentic self. And through my own journey, I wanted to encourage people to do the same.
I love that. So what kind of people do you interview?
I interviewed Rob Max, so his episode was Happiness from the Inside Out, Alyssa Goodman.
What would you say in that conversation with Rob, the master of happiness, that you really learned, maybe that you didn't know about him or about happiness in general?
I love this question because I thought our conversation was phenomenal. I wanted to give him, I did it over Zoom recording, and I wanted to give him a big hug after. It was so inspiring. But one word he said was, how to be truly happy is just be present. The most simplest thing, and that's so eye-opening because I think so many of us are distracted with everything in life. So
how have you really put that into practice in your own life?
I am more present.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I honestly, part of this podcast is it's like kind of self-serving as well, but I'm serving other to inspire people to really step out there and become the best version of their self inside and outside. You know, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually.
Yeah, because you've been a fit model basically for years and years, and I think there's this thinking out there. A lot of people think, well, if I just lost that 10 pounds, then my life would work out. You know what I mean? And I think that we're finding, I'm curious what that was like. You know, looking good on the outside does not mean that you're fulfilled, does not mean that you're happy.
So true.
How's that journey been for you?
You know what? So I've been a professional fit model for 15 years. A lot of people don't know what that is. It's basically your body is used as a template to mass produce clothing for manufacturers.
It's really awful. I don't know how you.
So basically you have to stay within a quarter of inch, every inch of your body. And I do everything from top to bottom, mostly denim. But I was always looked at for my body. Not anything internally, except for my close friends. They knew, you know, I'm giving and I like to be of service and things like that. But I was always looked at for my physique. And that was partly as well the podcast is like, I have something to say. I know that I could do this. And I just went for it, stepped into fear. And
so awesome.
So, yeah.
So awesome.
So what is your overall mission? I mean, I relate to this very much. I was a model for a long time. I was a hanger and I looked very pretty in a picture, but I really wanted to speak what it is my truth is, right?
Exactly,
so what is your truth? What is your message?
You know what? I've always been very vulnerable, very comfortable in my own skin, but I realized, and I didn't have this awakening till, like I said, my journey. I thought I loved myself, but I didn't quite love myself as you would say self-love is. And I really believe in being vulnerable, speaking your truth, being honest, being also receptive to other people's journey and being compassionate and having empathy. So partly my mission is to show people that I'm comfortable being just as I am, you know, sharing my journey. I have no problem in saying, you know, I went through emotional abuse, I, you know, lacked self-love, I felt I was stupid, all these things. I have no problem anymore admitting that because I feel it will just empower people to step into that as well.
So awesome.
my mission is just to encourage people to become the best they can be in this world.
Amazing. Well, we all need the conversation for sure. So tell people where they can find your podcast, how they can follow your personal journey.
Of course. So the podcast Passion, Love, Pursuit, you can find on every platform, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all that jazz. And then also my website, passionlovepursuit.com. And at Instagram, Passion Love Pursuit, and also Erica_Lippy for my personal. So.
That's so cute.
Thank you so much,
Hashtag
Erica.
Passion Love Pursuit.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.